Hello you guys, welcome to my YouTube. It is my very first video and I just want to say thank you to all who are subscribed and thank you to all who are supporting me on this YouTube journey, because I'm not gonna lie, this is very different from TikTok and my podcast, my usual mediums. YouTube is very different because this is more long form, and so it's very new for me. But I'm so glad to be here. Thank y'all so much for joining me. So I'm not gonna do an intro, let's just jump right in. So I want to discuss decent to your mom and what that mean, because a lot of people talk about it and I've been seeing lots of misinterpretation of what decent to your mom mean, and actually a lot of people have given me heat on this, like a lot of heat. And so I just want to spend time today addressing everything, answering all your questions, and diving in deep. So what I'm going to do is, if you enjoy audio more than visual, I'm going to put the podcast link of Decent to Your Mom, because I did speak about this in the podcast episode. So if you enjoy more audio, my podcast is in the description. So yeah, let's jump in. So a lot of people talk about decentering men and breaking away from depending on men, but not a lot of people discuss your first relationship, and that is with your mom. It's like, if you can't decenter your mom, what make you think that you can decenter men? So a lot of people have jumped over to decenter men and forgot about decenter your mom, which is again our very first relationship. So the confidence from taking your first relationship off of a pedestal gives you confidence to do the same for future relationships, right? I know from experience, when I decentered my mom, my very first relationship, it was nothing to do it for men. My dad, my uncle, my cousin, my sister, my brother. Because if I can do it to the woman who put life inside of me, I can most definitely do it for y'all. Decent to your mom is a phrase that was coined from the term decenter men, and the creator who created decenter men, that philosophy, is Charlie Tuabox. So I want to take time to acknowledge her and recognize her, because a lot of people have stolen her philosophy, and she is the original creator of decenter men. And then I coined the term decenter your mom. So what is it? Decenter mom is a period in a woman's life where she finally gets independence, sovereignty, and thinks outside of her mother. All the limitations, all the doubts, all of the ideas that came from mom, she now is thinking for herself. She acts for herself outside of her mom. And this can look like a woman making decisions without her mother's approval. A lot of us have a hard time doing that, right? Before maybe I'm stuttering. Before we make decisions, we have to ask mom, hey mom, is this correct? Hey mom, should I do this? And it's like, no, what do I want? What do I deem as valuable? What is it that Allison likes for herself? And so the time in which a woman decent her mom, that is the period in which a woman says, I am my own person outside of my mom. Yes, she did give life to me, but I am still my own person. So a lot of people have taken this term and have twisted it into, oh, she's saying hate your mom and don't listen to her and fuck mom. It's like, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, your mom is responsible for leading you to the river of your own knowings. Once she gets you into that river and you're swimming well in that river, that is when she says, okay, you can now think for yourself. You can now be your own self. A lot of mothers do not trust their daughters to swim in their own knowings. A lot of mothers don't want their daughters swimming in her own knowings. The beautiful thing about decenter mom is you'll realize a good mother, a mother who truly loves her child, she wants you to decenter her. So that's the thing about it, right? It's like, decent to your mom means you hate her. No, a mom who loves her daughter, who wants her daughter to grow into her own person, which actually strengthens the relationship, right? When I come to my mom and my independence and my sovereignty, that actually strengthens the relationship. We meet each other in each other's sovereignty, whereas I'm still dependent on you and you're still depending on me. And that's how toxicity form. That's why a lot of relationships are bad between mother and daughter. It's because they depend off of each other way too much, and that is not good. So a mom who really loves you, want you, she encourages this process of her being decentered. Trust and do believe that. Now, toxic narcissistic mother, a mother who have traits relating to narcissism, she hates decenter your mom. She does not want to be taken off her pedestal. She wants to be the center. She wants you to depend off of her forever, right? You get your first job. She's taking all of your checks. That's a mother who wants to be the center. You have accomplishments and she always wants recognition for them. You know, you have ideas and she's like, I don't like that. Do this instead. Wear this, think like this, marry that person, move here, go to this school, go to this college. That is a mom who don't want to be decentered. And that is extremely detrimental to the daughter's growth, because there comes a time in which you want to do things for yourself, right? You have ideas. You have things that you want to manifest in this lifetime. And when your mom is not supporting that, that leaves you feeling resentful. And a lot of daughters have felt that, in which they grow up and they resent their mom. They're angry with mom because they realize at 25, at 30, at 40, at 50, I lived my entire life for you. I did not decenter you. That is the worst feeling. When you realize you lived your entire life for mom, that is how you resent her. The way that you save yourself from resenting her is decentering her. So it's actually a form of love when you decenter her. It's actually a woman saying, I love my mother and I want to protect our relationship. I don't want our relationship to turn completely sour. So I'm going to decenter you. I'm going to do that, because if I don't, I know when I get older, I'm going to be angry with you. And I don't want to be angry with my mother, right? I don't want to blame my mother for the rest of my life, for why my life is the way it is. Because also in the process of decenter your mom, you can't blame your mother, right? So a lot of times, a lot of women get into this habit of blaming their mom for how their life turned out. And that's detrimental, because at some point you have to take accountability for the way that your life turned out. And in decenter your mom, that is this process. It is a woman saying, I am responsible. So let me take you off of the pedestal. Strict mothers, strict parenting ruins a daughter's creative flow. It is the killer of a daughter's creativity and ideas. I do not like strict parenting. I think it comes down to daughters. We are naturally wild. We are naturally free. And it comes down to parenting girls. It is important you allow them to express that freedom, express that creativity. A mother who is controlling, a mother who don't want to be decentered, she does not allow you to be creative. It takes you having to take the initiative in taking her off the pedestal. Your mother needs that. This is a very natural process. So the thing about decenter your mom is, it is a process in a woman's life in which she decides that she wants to do things differently. She wants to live life on her own terms. So do not think that this process is abnormal. This is something new. It is nothing new. It is a natural process. What have made this process so abnormal is us normalizing living for mom. That is not how a woman's life is supposed to go. This is what I call the initiation process. When a woman decides she wants to embark on this journey of finding herself, that is a woman initiating. She's deciding that, okay, It is time to figure out the woman I am, because many of us did not get good examples. Many of us did not get healthy examples of a good mom. And even if you did, you are not exempt from this process. Every woman must decenter their mother to become the woman they are meant to be. And again, a good mother encouraged this process. So let me start with my experience. So me and my mom do not have the best relationship. It was like that since I was young. We were always at odds because we were both so completely different. She wanted this for my life. I wanted this for my life. And the older I got, the more I realized how I really don't want this life that she keeps showcasing to me. I really just don't want this life. You know, I want this life. I want traveling. I want freedom. I want this. And she won't let me do this. And so the older I became, the more our relationship began to come. It began to become more toxic, constant arguing, constant bickering because we wanted two different things. I knew at that point it was time to separate from her, because if I didn't, I would become the reflection of her ideas in which she wanted, and I didn't want that for myself. So I moved out, and I only had 2 months worth of rent. I was scared because I never moved out ever. I didn't have a job. I didn't have enough money, but I did it anyways. Because when it comes down to a woman, she has to decide what is truly important for her. And in my case, it was freedom. And I was willing to risk it all for my freedom. So the thing is, you have to decide what is important to me. That I'm willing to risk everything to have it. And for me, it was my freedom. So that meant moving out on 2 months worth of rent and risking losing it all. It was worth it. And as you can see, I'm quite successful, right? I've done it. But that started when I made the decision to descend to her, and it initiated me. I began to get all these different wisdoms. I began to find deep security within myself because she was no longer the center in my life. I became the center. So now it's, do I like this? Do I want this? Do I believe that this is good for me? And the more I look towards myself for my own life, because listen, no one knows your life like you. No one knows what your soul wants like you. No one knows the value of the things that you love like you. Your mom can't tell you that. Although she gave life to you, she can't tell you what gives you life. You know, a play on words. She can't tell you that. Only you can, because it's your life. So you have to take mom off the pedestal. When you see people in their authenticity, you are moved into yours as well. See people as the human they are. Your mother is human. She is not God. You know, those phrases like, mom knows best, and always listen to your mom, even when you're older. These phrases is what keeps the woman shackled. Because yes, although I'm not saying just tune your mother out. Sometimes you have to. But when you're young, yes, listen to mom, right? Because sometimes she do know best. But like I said, she is supposed to guide you into the rivers of your own knowing. When she get you to that river and you're swimming well, you're doing well, she's supposed to trust you to know how to swim. And a lot of mothers do not trust their daughters. And it's sad. It's sad seeing a woman angry and depressed, all because she is living in the reflection of her mother's mirror. That is sad. But oftentimes it is those dark emotions that you need to feel to get things sparked, right? That anger, that depression, that sadness I felt was the emotions I needed to make that risky decision of moving out. So it's actually the darker emotions in the woman's life that sparks her to change. It's those dark emotions that spark you to Transform, because at some point you get tired of feeling that way. You get tired of feeling helpless. You get tired of feeling hopeless. You get tired of those feelings. So at some point it's like, okay, this anger I feel, let me transform this anger into great transformational power. That is how you win. That is a woman who decenters her mom. And then actually what you'll realize is when a woman comes into her own independence, she's able to then have a relationship with her mother. She's able to better connect with her mother because she meets her mother as her own. And that is the best feeling in the world, is when you're able to be in relationship with someone as your own, right? A lot of people can't stand their moms because they're not their own. They're their mothers. They're her expectations and her standards. You don't want to live a life like that. This is why you have to decenter her. A question I had was, Allison, can I decenter my mom while I'm living with her? My answer is yes and no. Let me explain. When you are in the environment of your mother, right, it's going to make it hard to decenter her because you are in her environment. So it's her rules, right? Even if you break the rules and even you try to rebel, consequences follow. My best advice is when a woman truly takes up the process within decentering their mom, she has to leave the environment that fostered it, right? She has to leave that environment. Now, if you do this process, and you're living with her, don't expect the same results as someone who is not living with her, right? A lot of women think that doing meditation and yoga, if I just do my affirmations, if I just do the coaching, the therapy sessions, and I'm living in her environment, I'll be good. Nope. Because what's gonna happen is, speaking from experience, you're gonna get the therapy. You'll do the yoga, the meditation, all these things, and just because you're in that environment, it ruins it. It ruins it. I mean, I'll be done meditating and then go downstairs, me and mom in an argument. Now my entire meditation process in practice is off because the issue is not you. You are not the issue. It is your environment. It's your environment that has to change. So my best advice is when you are serious about this process, you are going to leave that environment the best way you know how. Even if it means moving out on 2 months worth of rent like I did. Even if it means living in a university. Even if it means moving in with a friend. Even if it means getting roommates, because before I got my studio apartment, I had moved in with roommates. And so that's how I was able to stay afloat. But that's what you'll do when you're serious about the process. So you will move out. You will move out. So my answer to that question is no. When you really want to decenter your mom, you will want to leave that environment. It's going to be natural. It's like a decision that feels overnight of, okay, yeah, I got to leave. So my answer to that question, can you decenter your mom while living with her? No. You can do the practices, but those are only the catalysts for growth, right? Those practices are just motivators for growth, but it isn't the process, right? The meditation, the yoga, all those things, that isn't the process, right? That's just the catalyst that you need for growth. I hope I'm using that word right, but yes. So my answer is no. Let's move on. In my podcast, I went over the 3 archetypes of mothers who make it hard to be decentered. And all these mothers have something in common. And that is, these women have not initiated themselves. These women have not done the deep work themselves. So they cannot propel you and encourage you to do the deep work. These 3 archetypes is the magnet mother, the critical mother, and the unmothered mother. The magnet mother is a helicopter mother. So this mother is always wanting to know the ins and outs of your life. She always has suggestions for this and that and this and that, never allowing you to have your own opinion because you are so close, you're so enmeshed, right? It's like we're best friends. Unpopular opinion, your mom is not your best friend. Oops. But yeah, your mom not your best friend. And when you are so enmeshed and you are so close, that can make it hard for her to be decentered. My second one is the critical mother. The critical mother is harsh and mean. You know, you have an idea, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. I don't think you should do that. Or maybe you want to go to this college. I don't like that college. No. Why you talk like that? Why you wear that? Why you? That's a critical mom. That is a mom who is so harsh. She cannot fully love her daughter. She cannot nourish her daughter. She only have critiques, which you could be doing. You could be doing, if only you was like that girl. If only you was like this child. Just critical. So you spend your entire life trying to please her, trying to get her validation because she's just critical. It's hard to decenter a mother like that. My last one is the unmothered mother. This mom have not had a mom herself that taught her and mentored her and loved her. So when it comes down to you, she can't mother you. she just hands off. It's like, yeah, do whatever you want, because she's unmothered. So she can't really mother you because she's unmothered herself. That is a mom who makes it hard to be decentered, because then you spend your life wanting her approval and wanting her to mother you for once. Those are all three archetypes of mothers who make it hard to be decentered. And when you realize the mother you had in your life, it is very important, okay, listen, that you recognize the wounds that you have from her and then do the deep work required. This takes commitment. It takes dedication. It does. And it's a hard process. Decentering your mom can take years, because you will be struggling with hearing her inner voice. You're making a decision and all you hear is her voice. It can take years to decenter her, but you have to start the process. If you don't, you dismantle yourself, and now it's your fault. And as you are in this process, right, because it's a death, but also a creation, right? So I'm killing this thing, but also something else is birthing here. As you are creating, you begin to actually forgive your mom. From experience, as I created my own life, as I began to do all the things that I want to do in my own life, travel, work and make my money and build and get my studio apartment and obtain my freedom, I saw myself no longer being angry with her, because now the power is in my hands. Now it's in my control. When a woman is in the frequency, the vibration of creation, she begins to let go of anger. She begins to let go of all that frustration and sadness, because now the power is in her hands, right? What makes you angry is the fact that you don't have any power. There's no control. There's no sense of creation. But when you're creating, there's no need to be mad with mom anymore, right? Is me and my mom in contact with right now? No, but I'm not angry with my mom. I'm not. I forgive my mom. I'm not angry with her at all, because I'm creating a life that I've always wanted for myself. When a woman is creating, she lets go of all that anger. It's when you are not creating, is when you stay stuck in that anger. But as you are creating and creating and creating, you feel it beginning to let go. Like, I feel like I'm releasing something. That's what happens when you complete the process and you're doing the process in decentering your mom. You begin to let go of all that anger, sadness, and frustration. And it's sad to say, but if a lot of women don't tighten up and complete this process, they're going to always be angry with mom. Always angry with her. You will lead a life in which you're just angry. One thing I want to make very ground clear is I am not a licensed therapist. I'm a licensed psychologist. I want to say this because a lot of people on the internet be like, where's her credentials? Where's her license? I don't have it. I'm not licensed. I'm not a psychologist. I am someone with a shit ton of experience, and I read a lot of books, and I was able to come up with Decent to Your Mom off of my own personal experiences. However, I am not licensed. So I just want to say that because I know how y'all get down on these folks' internet. Now, something I want to talk about too is paying attention to the culture that you live in. A part of Decent to Your Mom is recognizing the culture and the environment that you was raised in that made it hard for her to be decentered. Because one thing that you're going to realize is it wasn't just mom who played a role. It was your family. It was the people around you, right, who played a role in making this process hard. What you'll learn too is when you decide to descend to your mom, your entire family will be against it. They'll be like, oh, what she think that she know? Oh, she thinks she all this. So now it's 50 against 1. The most powerful thing that you can do as a woman is say, I will continue this process even if all you guys stand against me. Because the family is usually on the mom's side of her being centered. Usually the family, if you look at your family line, you see all the daughters center their mom, that runs in the family. So they want you to center mom, right? The village encouraged that you center mom. And that right there was not right. That right there was the first dismantling, is when the village and the family encouraged it. So you'll realize that it's not just mom who's the problem, it's also the family. The family encouraged this. The family backs her up when she's wrong. The family backs her up when she doesn't know. The family is also against you. So you have to stand against all of them and say, no, I reclaim my life. I reclaim my control, and I will make my life something. I will bring out my potential. So here's the question, right? What are you creating? What are you creating? That is such an important question that a woman will ask herself in this lifetime. What are you creating? If you do not answer that question, you will be dismantled. You're going to be lost. When you have a sense of creation, you will go towards it. So please ask yourself that question. What am I creating here? And who is it that is stopping me from this creation? Once you have completed decentering your mom, it is nothing to decenter men. Now we can go into decenter men. A lot of people love to jump over decenter mom. Like, no, you have to, it starts with mom and then men. You know, it's not just skipping over. No, complete the entire process. And then once you take mom off that pedestal, you can do the same thing for men. It's nothing to do it for men. Now you can leave relationships on time. Now you can set your standards. You can set your boundaries. You can speak your mind. You can speak your truth because you did it with the first woman in your life. You did it in your first ever relationship. It is your first relationship that determines really how your future ones go. So if you want to know why you was always attracting toxic men and toxic friends, look at your mom. Look at your mom. And here you are still centering her, which makes it worse. When I decentered my mom, I had realized how I began to also let go of the relationships that reminded me of my mom. That's a beautiful connection. When I decentered my mom, I realized that there were so many relationships that was built simply because I had relations with her. So when I decentered her, it was easy to let go of the ones that I formed off of my mother wound. When I healed my mother wound, and I'm still healing, when I did that, I began to really desire beautiful and whole connections, because that's the woman that I'm growing into. That's the woman I'm growing into. A beautiful, healed, whole, fulfilling woman. A lot of women have to want that for themselves. You have to want fulfillment. You have to want satisfaction in your own life. Again, no one knows your life like you do. No one knows what brings you joy. No one knows what brings you life. Your own mom can't tell you that. She can guide you into those rivers and help you swim. But at some point, and I keep repeating it, at some point, she have to let you swim. A lot of y'all sadly have moms that are holding y'all back, in which you want to do something and she's like, don't do it. Your mom is holding you back. And this is not a video of the shit mothers, because we can go to the fathers as well, but we're going to focus on mom. Your mom is holding you back. And you have to decide and question, what are you willing to lose everything for? You have to make a risk, and you have to stand on it. The environment, the village, all played a part in you centering your mom. Right? And it's understandable. This is the woman who gave me life. Of course she knows my life better than me. No, she don't. You do. It's your life. So you have to decide at this very moment, Mom, you are decentered. And I am growing to my own person. I will grow into my own person. I will become the person I am meant to be. I will become the woman I was always destined to be. Because the creation and the creativity that you hold, that anger that you feel, that sadness you feel from mom being strict, from mom not believing in you and mom not encouraging you, that is the emotions that you need to feel to transform. Because those darker emotions create a spark in the woman's life. And when the woman can follow that spark and take that spark seriously and do something with it, her life transform. The greatest power a woman have is change and transformation. But the thing is, you have to find yourself worthy of that change. If you don't find yourself worthy of change, you will never descend to your mom. So please become your own person, become your own woman outside of mom. Because also too, I'm never gonna lie, when you have a woman who always center her mom, that makes her unbearable as a friend. We all had that friend that always like her ideas, her conversation, she sounds just like her mom. She's a mirror, a reflection of her mom. Those friends are annoying. A lot of women who are so enmeshed and they are always centering their moms, they don't have the best friendships because their mom dictate who they can be friends with. Their mom always have an opinion on their friendships, their relationships. You can't make good relationships with your mom as the center because she wants to dictate everything. Those make annoying friends. And then too, when you want a relationship, when you get into marriage, you want to come into that space as your own person, as sovereign. You want to come into your friendships as sovereign. The best friends are those who are independent, who can think for themselves, who can act for themselves, who can speak for themselves. Those make the best friends because they're not being controlled and dictated by somebody else, right? And so it's a very important process if you want healthy relationships, if you want healthy friendships, because even when you get married, right, the most annoying people, especially this is for men, we all know we all dated that one guy who just always talked and centered his mom. You know, like, you're married to me, you're in a relationship with me, not your mom. That's what happened when you don't decenter your mom. Because guess what? Decenter your mom is not reserved for women. Men must decenter their mom as well. It's universal. It is universal. So please take this process seriously. Because if you want a healthy marriage, if you want a healthy relationship, you cannot keep allowing mom to tell you this and that and this and that and what she want for you. What do you want for you? what is best for your relationships and your friendships. And once you figure that out, you become more confident. You become more vibrant because you're your own self. You know, I dress like me. My mom didn't choose this style for me. This is me. This is Allison. This entire apartment that I decorated is me. You know, my speech is me. You know, my entire life is mine. It's sacred. It's personal. All my decisions I make are personal to me. It's because I wanted it. It's because I like it. It's because I loved it. And so when you get into that place, you become so much more happier. And that is all when you decenter your mom. So I hope that this YouTube video cleared up everything and answered all your questions. I wanted to make this YouTube video a little short because it's my first one. So yeah, I love you guys so much. I will see you in a YouTube video soon.